Alright Grapple fans, Total Extreme Wrestling 9 is here. This is the 9th installment of the booking simulator, celebrating 20 years of existence for the game. For those of you who don't know, this is a wrestling simulator. You play as the booker, you manage a federation, you book your TV shows and your pay-per-views, and you try to surge to the top of the ratings. It's all text-based, it's not something where you're going to see fights or something like that, but it is very addictive, very fun. And the new version's out. I'm going to give you a full guide here on how to download and install the game, how to get the real world mod going as well. Now you may wonder why give a guide to installing the game? Sure, on other management simulations we've done the real world mod. This one is a little bit old school in how it works. See, with this one you do not buy the game on Steam. You have to come to the greydogsoftware.com website. So you can click on buy now, you can click on web store up here. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. This will take you to their page, their library of all their games. So the most recent game, Total Extreme Wrestling 9, is at the top here. If you scroll down, you can find the older versions down here. I think the last one I played was Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. I skipped the 2020 version, but I've got back into wrestling recently. I'm itching to get back into the game, hence the content returning to the channel. It'll be the first time on the channel. You just simply click add here and it'll take you to a page here. Now all you have to do to buy it, you enter your email and you enter your payment details. Obviously I'm not going to enter my payment details here whilst making a video on the channel, but then you will be emailed an activation code. You'll also get a link to download the game itself. But in terms of actually installing the game and getting it running, now if you've been a Windows gamer since the kind of Windows 98 XP days, this might be a bit of a trip down memory lane. If you came to Windows gaming a bit later than that, there may be a few unusual steps that you're not quite used to, hence the guide. So anyway, let's say you've done your purchase and you've downloaded the installer. So you should have it in your downloads folder like this. So of course we double click on that to run it. So we get the welcome to the Total Extreme Wrestling 9 setup wizard here. Now the default installation directory is in your documents folder. You do get the option to change that, which I'm going to do. I'm going to put this into my external hard drive, just because, you know, once we've downloaded all the faces, I was going to say player faces, of course they're not player faces, all of the wrestler faces and all of the various people in the game, once we've downloaded that real world data, it might take up quite a hefty bit of space. So I'm just going to put it in my documents folder here. I've already got a Grey Dog software thing set up. I will just add here a folder just like it was going to create for us, TEW 9. So that will be our installation folder here. We just hit OK and we let it run. Now you might get a message coming up. You see here it does ask you for administrator rights to install. You might get a message come up where it kind of comes up as a warning message telling you not to install the program because it's from an unknown source and an unverified publisher. You can of course just ignore that. You can tell it to skip that warning and just go ahead and install it anyway. But yeah, if you're a fan of this game, Total Extreme Wrestling, or you're planning to get into this one for the first time, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your preferred type of save will be. Alright, so that's all done. Took a couple of minutes, but we just click finish. Now, because this hasn't installed from Steam, we don't get any desktop shortcut over here, so there's a couple of ways to get the game running. You can just come down to your search bar, type in TEW, and then you'll see here the apps one. You can click TEW 9 and it will open the game for you. The retail installer, if you run that a second time, you can use that to uninstall the game if you put it into the wrong directory or something like that and you want to move it. The other thing you can do, of course, is come to wherever you installed it. So for me, that was my documents folder on my external drive. So then we just click through the folders, Grey Dog Software, TEW 9, and then we can run the game from here. I'm going to do it from here because for the real world mod we will need to come back to these folders here. So let's run it from there and we'll set it all up. Okay, so here's the next step. You've got to activate the game. So remember I said when you make a purchase you'll get a license key. So this is the point where you need to put that license key in. So you see here you've got a couple of options, activate and deactivate. Obviously we're going to activate. The reason this deactivate is here is because this code can be used once, basically, on one machine. But if you were to, say, change your PC or something like that, what you would have to do before getting rid of your old PC, you would have to come in and deactivate your license and then go through this installation process again and use your key again on your new machine. So just bear that in mind if you do a kind of reinstall of Windows on your computer, or you change your computer or something like that. Make sure you deactivate this first. But all you have to do is the code that you got when you purchased the game, right from that tab or from your email, you'll just copy paste it into here. Okay, so now we've got the message that the license is activated, so we just hit finish. So as you can see here, it says we have to go to the TEW9 technical support forum. So good thing this popped up so we can show you how to do this part as well. All right, so we're back on the Grey Dog Software website. So you can see up here, it says forums. So if we click on that, it's going to take us, obviously, to the forums. Tech support is where we want to go. You have to scroll down here, or at least when I'm doing this. So right at the bottom, we've got Total Extreme Wrestling 9, tech support. So this is where we should be able to find that update. So here you go. It's one of the pinned posts, current patch 1.10. So we can download it for the retail version or the trial version here. So we're going to click here as instructed to install. We got the instructions here. Make sure TEW9 is not running. It's not running. I've exited the game. Unzip the file and use the TEW9 XEU find to replace your existing copies. Alright, so there was me looking for the download link. Then I spotted this. I'm not signed into my account. Okay, so I'm now signed in and we've got to download this file. So we just click there and then we pop over to our downloads folder where we've got here the retail patch. Okay, so I've unzipped that here. So all we have to do now is cut or copy that over to our installation folder. So wherever you installed it, for me, of course, it was here on the documents file on my external drive. So we just come to this folder inside the TEW9 folder, and then we're just going to paste it here and overwrite or replace the file in the destination. Now hopefully when it loads up, yeah, we see there right at the top, it is version 1.10, so that all worked. Now at this point, if we want to dive in and start a new game, it's just going to do this with the games database, which is called the Cornellverse. So it's a fictional universe with various promotions around the world, but it does have kind of a bit of a cult following, so you can do that if you want. So you can name your game, you can choose which regions you want running, so you could just base it in the United States or North America. You can throw in Mexico as well. We've also got the UK and Europe, we've got Australia, we've got India and Japan here too. So there's plenty of options there. But we want to have a look at how we can get the real world, how we can get WWE, AEW and New Japan and all of those promotions, indie promotions in as well. So there's a couple of options for finding these mods. One is you can come to the forums again, and then you can find this one, the Total Extreme Wrestling 9 mods forum. So there's all kinds of things here. You just have to be make sure you're mindful that some of these are completed mods, some of them will be kind of work in progress of beta versions of mods as well. So always have a look through. The main one that you probably want to go for would be this one, Real World Updates by The Who 87. So they this basically we get monthly updates here, so you can see here August 2024 full version. The other option, one of the main places to come to, is this website tewdb.com. So if you come here, I'll just take you to the homepage first of all, so you can see they've got their featured downloads, lots of different mods here. You just have to watch out that you are picking a TEW9 mod, because you'll see some of them here, like this one here, the Real World Chronicles August, that's for TEW 2020, the previous version of the game. If you want to make sure you're definitely looking at the right things, you can come to downloads at the top, pick TEW9 and mods, and then you get it here. Now there is updates to the Cornellverse. There's various different things that you can download. You've got this is the same update that we just downloaded here, and we've got here the download and the graphics pack. So we're just going to download these from TEWDB. It's the most straightforward way to do it. So we download the mod itself from here, and then we download the graphics pack from here. These will take you to media file pages, and then you just download from there. You'll find them in your downloads folder. But anyway, you'll see here we've now got 2 zip folders downloaded. Okay, now when we extract these files, we want to extract them to our folder where we've installed the game. So we're just going to come to Documents, Grey Dog Software, TEW 9, and then we want to get into the databases folder, and we've already got their default and default alt, so just leave those as they are. just highlight that databases folder, click OK, and that should now be extracted there. Okay, now for the pictures and getting those in. So we've got this folder here, bump January 2024. This is one we downloaded from TEW. So we just open up that zip file. Now we want to come over to where we've installed the game. We want to go to pictures, and then we're just going to drag and drop this over here. Now obviously this is quite a large file, so it might take a few minutes for all the pictures. You see there it started off estimating this at about 10 minutes, but of course you've got pictures here of wrestlers, of promoters, of managers, of bookers, of company logos, all that kind of stuff from all around the world of wrestling. So yeah, it's going to take a few minutes. All right, so we're almost there. We're down to the last 15 seconds. It has indeed taken about 10 minutes to get this far. But anyway, there we go. We now see in our pictures folder, we've got this bump January 2024. We'll come back to that in a moment. Okay, so we're now back in the game. So to get all of this to work, we need to click on this icon here with the kind of, it's like the burger icon, but with circles. So this will show us the available databases. So default alt, these are the Cornellverse ones, but right at the top, August 2024 by The Who. So we just want to click on use this database. And then once that's checked, but before we actually start the new game, we just want to come and click on the editor here. Now you'll see when this loads up, the database is loaded in, and you've got here all of the wrestling federations. So you can see here All Elite Wrestling, All Japan, they're here. We'll obviously have to scroll down to the bottom to find WWE, but they're all here, all the indie feds, literally hundreds, thousands of them. But what we want to click on right here is database details. So we just click on that now, we wait for it to come up, and then the picture folder. Now I've done this previously, so it's already set up, but that will be on default. You just want to make sure you've picked bump January 2024, or if you downloaded a different picture pack, make sure you've selected that one. Then you just click over here on check picture folder. That will just run a quick check to make sure that everything is as it should be. So that's all done. That's all checked and completed. So then we can just close this window, and then we can go back to the menu, and finally we can start our new game. So we're just going to hit this plus icon here to do that. It will just take a minute or two to check through the database, and then you can get into your game world. All right, so the check's complete. Then we click on begin game. Now here you can select your territories. So if your computer maybe can't handle all the data, you can just narrow this down, or maybe you just want to focus on the United States and Canada. So you could just do that. I'm going to keep them all on for now. India's not available with this real world update, but it is available on the Cornellverse and other updates as well. So let's click on start new game. Oops, I forgot to name it. So let's just put in DGE. That will be the name of our game world. So it's just finalizing all the details. So this will be another minute or two. As you can see there, it does say the larger the database, the longer this will take. One other thing I'll add, because I've made this mistake a couple of times already, while it's setting things up, don't click anywhere in the window, because if you do, it might crash. Okay, but luckily that didn't happen this time. You can have multiplayer games. I've never tried that myself, but we'll just click through. Now you see here, it takes us into this area where we can choose the person we want to be. The booker we want to be. So it's automatically put me onto Sophie. You see we've got various options here. Paddington Bear is a bit of an unusual one that I perhaps wasn't expecting to see there. I think we've got, yeah, here we go. We've got Snoop Dogg, we've got Shaquille O'Neal. So those are guys who have some connection to the world of wrestling at least. We've got Tyson Fury down here. But if you don't want to choose one of those guys, you can come and click here on avatars only. We just need to give it a second to access the database, and then we should be able to pick anybody you can think of who's actually in the real world database. Alright, so it's randomly come up with Noam Dar, but we can just go into the search bar here. We could go for someone like Mick Foley, for example. You just pick anybody and role play as them. So I'll just go ahead with that, play this character. It says he's got no booking skill. Are you sure you want to continue? But we will go ahead with that. Unused user characters, that will just be that list of characters at the beginning. If we're not using them, we can have them deleted from the database. But anyway, after all that process, we're finally into the game. So we can choose the company we want to start with. Again, you've got an absolutely huge list. So we could start off in NXT. We could, you know, take ourselves to Ring of Honor. We could start off straight at the top. We could jump in with AEW or WWE. You know, there's all sorts of options here. So that is the guide. That's how you download and install the game. That's how you get the mods downloaded and installed and working. And that's how you set the game up. I'm now going to have a play around and get some content, some gameplay content up on the channel. Let me know what kind of saves you're going to be interested in Total Extreme Wrestling 9 down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you found that useful.